Comiccon and a very special Girls on Games podcast. Yay! This is really awesome. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. We like I just mentioned, we actually do this from the comfort of our own homes on Twitch. We do have people come and interact with us through the chat. I see a few familiar gamer or Twitch tags, I want to say, not faces, but now they're happy friend faces. This is podcast number 27, but yeah, it's the first one that we've done live like this. We've done one together. Actually, we did a post-E3 podcast where a few of us got together, but I do like the time that we get to interact with each other because I actually think the flow will be a little different. But to let you all know, my name is Leah, and I am the host of the podcast. I'm going to introduce you to the full panel. We've got Catherine Ashley, who is our shooter aficionado, and resident anthropology master's student. Yeah. We've got Allie.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We've got Allie, our RPG queen. Yay. My partner in crime, Catherine SD. Simon, our podcast technical producer. And the newest member to Girls on Games, yes, we do have guys, because we don't discriminate and we love everybody's opinion. Yeah. We've got Nick, too, who just reviewed Splatoon for us. Yeah. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping. We want to let you know that after many people have asked us, we have produced Girls on Games t-shirts. You've seen a few people walking around sporting this beautiful t-shirt. We're selling them at booth, the Electric booth, which is at 2030 in the Artist Alley area. We're also selling them online. And maybe a lucky listener here today will get to win one. So stay tuned. Woo. All right, cool. So yeah, we're going to be taking questions at the end of the panel as well. So, if you feel free to come up and ask one to one of the panelists or to us as a whole. So how we usually roll the podcast is now we run into hot news, but we're at Comic-Con. And it's a very special Comic-Con because there is tons of video game content. It's up the yin-yang. So I know a bunch of us got to try Rainbow Six Siege, which is actually playable for the first time in Canada here on the show floor. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is also here, which is a few doors over. Mad Max is here. There's some Lego Dimensions, some the figurines. There's some other playable Lego games. So I want to get your guys' feedback on what you've seen, what you've done, what you like, what you don't. Let's start with you, Kat.
Okay, well, I did play Rainbow Six, which was a lot of effing fun. Can't do my usual speak. But it was a lot of fun actually, and I'm not one to play objective games. When I play Halo, it's normally lone wolf. I like to shoot everyone and just, get away from my team, like Team Slayer and stuff. But it was fun, and it was actually nerve-wracking. My heart was beating when they were trying to, because you get to, break down barricades and all that, because people want to come and, murder you. So yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun. And if you guys can get a chance this weekend to go try it out, go try it. And they give you, I think, free beta code for the game. So,
and for those folks that are watching on Twitch, because yes, we are broadcasting this on Monday on Twitch. We actually have 100 beta codes to give away online. Because Ubisoft have been super sweet and given that to us. So you need to tag us on Twitter. We've got an article up on the site about it. So yeah, holler at us on Twitter, and if you win one, and I'm sure you will, because there's 100, we'll be sending a beta code your way.
It's a good chance.
I like those odds.
Fair odds, yeah.
How about you, Allie? What have you been doing? What have you been playing?
Well, I was lucky enough to be on Kat's team when we played Rainbow Six Siege. Actually, there was 5 of us, and there was a lot of yelling, but definitely go check it out. It is so much fun, and people can rappel off roofs. That's just a heads up. We didn't know that, so we assumed our position, and we thought that we were pretty good. No, it was wrong. It was a false sense of security. They came through the windows and they kicked our butts.
They literally came from the back.
Yeah, they did.
Kicked our butts.
Yeah, anyways. But Assassin's Creed Syndicate, that was what I was really, really excited for. We got to try it out just yesterday, and holy crap, that game is awesome.
So who did you get? Did you get to play as Jacob?
Jacob, yeah.
It was kind of sad. Yes, we didn't get to play the fairer of the twins, but she was there. She was there in a few cutscenes, and she looks freaking cool. But yeah, it's shaping up to be a really good game.
Okay, cool.
And I'm really excited for that.
Now, Kat, we've been a little busy.
We have, but we spent last night at Creators Night, and we got
That
to
we
see
did.
a lot of great indie games being produced. A lot of them which are about coming online or available like in this fall. So there was my favorite is still Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Yeah.
Because I love anything that is that silly.
It's bringing back couch co-op in the best way
It
possible.
is.
Yeah, like if you want to play with your friends, sit down. Like I love multiplayer online games. Lots of fun. You can sit in your own house, hook up with people online at any time of the day. It's great. But there's something to be said about gathering a bunch of your friends and just like trying to beat them at a video game.
Screwing them over.
Yes.
Yes,
so much
And that
fun.
game is nothing but about screwing
that's
your
all it
friends
is.
over.
It's
Yeah.
Yep, indeed. We saw that. We saw oh geez, we got to see the PewDiePie game.
Yeah. Actually, you could really see how the PewDiePie game is really about inside stuff.
Yes, there's
Like-
a lot of inside jokes in that.
Yeah, I didn't get most of the game. Like, they were explaining the barrels, the pugs, his girlfriend. I was just like, I don't get it because I'm not an avid watcher of his videos. I'm not a big fan of Let's Play on YouTube. So I was like, it's good. Like, it's well made. There are great mechanics, but I felt like left out of the conversation a bit. But I mean, it's a niche product.
The mechanic looks good. Like how they did a side-scrolling platformer and it has multiple levels, really reminiscent of games of yore. But with that being said, even as they're explaining stuff, it seems witty and hilarious, and I kind of want to go check out all the info about PewDiePie now. Like, I've seen some of his videos, but it's just not
Let's
something I
face it,
follow normally.
He has millions following him, so the fact that I'm not going to play doesn't affect
No.
the value of the game.
Yeah,
at
Outer
all.
Minds is going to make gazillions of dollars.
And people that are a fan of the guy are going to enjoy the hell out of that game. It's a very good game.
Yeah, just having someone who loved video games to start talking about video games, to garner a following, is now making a video game about what he loves and what he's created is unbelievable. And it's this really interesting circle of life that has been created.
I bet you his parents still call him saying, when are you going to get a job?
Oh yeah, like mine do all the time.
And actually, what struck me more is the music in that game. The
Oh,
music
yeah.
was fantastic. Like, it was almost 8-bit retro Mega Man style music, and it was just really, really good. Sounded great. So it was impressive to see that.
Now, Simon, you and I both got to play Mad Max.
Yeah, it's awesome. It looks really good. Who makes? I don't even know who makes. the game.
WB. And
Avalanche
if
Studios.
you've been playing Arkham Knight, it's like the same game with a different skin right now.
Well, I mean, I only play like the desert part where you like.
Well, that's what I played too.
Oh, okay.
But I drove around in a car, Batmobile. I got into fights, battle mechanic and Batman. But I mean, that's okay, because
Yeah.
there's going to be other stuff, because obviously there's like, you're hunting for stuff, you got to go get gas.
Yeah.
I picked up the controller after somebody else had,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm playing the game, there's no gas in the car. Paul knows, because I'm like, I need gas! He was saying, we're going to do this. And that kind of thing is different. But they've taken what's good from Batman and the learnings from Rocksteady and like thrown it into this game. So I know at least they're going to be solid on that front.
Yeah.
And it looks really pretty.
Yeah, I mean, that's what struck me most. I mean, I think we're actually really now starting to see actual next generation games coming out on consoles. Like,
Yeah.
that game looked fantastic, and even the new Batman that just came out looks really, really good on consoles too. So I think it's exciting to see
Yeah.
what's happening. Yeah, we actually going back to Ubisoft, we actually had a chance to sneak in a bit early on a Friday and play a game with me, Ali, Ash, and Nick, and we played against people that they said that they never played the game, but
Lies.
I call BS because that was
It's
like
impossible. No.
yeah,
I
no,
do
we
not
got
believe them.
we got our bleep beat, like it was really really bad.
Really bad though.
Yeah, like well, the
Surprisingly bad.
if you've ever played
Normally.
it's a team based shooter, but it's a bit like I want to say a bit like Counter-Strike, but not really. Whereas it's 5v5, but it's much more. You have a lot more like you can barricade doors so people don't come in. You have big machine gun you can sit down. You have barbed wire you can sit down. So and basically the other team needs to come in and steal or explode whatever the hell it is, and you need to defend against them. And like they kept blowing through freaking ceilings and like jumping down on us and like backstabbing us, rappelling through the windows. We're like, how do they know all this? And we're just like putting our little barricades on the windows and our little robots, and we just kept getting our ass into
It seems like a game that you're really gonna need to like know who you're playing with,
Yeah.
their roles,
Yeah.
and to really have a game plan before you go into the match.
Yeah, communication is going to be
It's
crucial
key.
in that game.
But,
Very key.
I see a future for the competitive scene actually if it picks up, because I think if they manage to really balance the game properly, and if they implement a matchmaking system, that kind of stuff, I think that it could really go far and actually compete with a lot of shooters on consoles and PC, of course. This year.
Cool.
So, yeah, it was fun.
Nice. And Nick, you got to play some Rainbow Six Siege, and you're also looking forward to esports tomorrow.
Yeah, get to see some Counter-Strike competitive with the 4 teams that are coming in to compete in the Canadian
Canadian
quarterfinals?
finals
Yes.
qualifying.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting, and everybody that's here, try Rainbow Six Siege. It's phenomenal.
Really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be good times. What have you seen else on the show floor besides? I mean, the panels have been great. I know a lot of folks here. I've seen familiar faces from the Mass Effect panel, from the Veronica Taylor one. I'm super stoked to go and check out the voice of Mario tomorrow, Charles Martinet. What else are you guys intrigued to go check out of the con that's not necessarily video game related, but it's all geek related?
No, I'm actually going to see a panel on Pixels tonight, which is video game related. Okay. Artist Alley is one of my favorite areas in the con, which I usually going to spend a lot of time tomorrow in it, buying prints, buying handmade goods and all that. So that's what I'm excited about. But other than that, it was I'm always going to video game panels. I'm sorry, I'm boring. Like, I'm boring and I'm niche.
We know what you like.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not a particular event because I pretty much hit up everything I wanted to see. But there is a certain someone on the floor that is very exciting to catch a glimpse of, and it is a giant moving claptrap.
What? Where?
Yeah, he showed up today in
Oh,
the
wow.
food court, and he like talks and everything, and he like wheels around. And you guys, seriously, if you see him, you need to go like take a picture with him. He's adorable. And that just
Very
I don't know,
cool.
that was like the highlight of my
Very
Comic
cool.
Con.
Cosplay has been on point.
Well, it's not a cosplay. It's like
It's a
little,
robot?
It's like an autonomous little robot. He just like goes and does
Wow.
this thing.
Does he do dubstep?
I haven't heard him do that. he was like spitting out all his lines and like his little sayings and stuff like that. It was really cool. It was really neat. So
Nice.
I like seeing that kind of stuff here at Montreal Comiccon. You see the big costumes at San Diego, but it's cool to see things like that coming here now. So yeah, I guess cosplay is something that I'm really interested in Montreal Comiccon.
Cool. Yeah, and it has been very, very good this year. I saw an amazing Midna, lots of Zelda cosplay. There's a group of like fairies from Zelda, and they're really epic. Yeah.
My thing is always Artist Alley. I love that. I'm a big fan of web comics, so a lot of the time you get to actually buy the physical comics, meet the people, they do a little drawing in the comic you buy. Like, I'm a big fan of the Artist Alley. That's my favorite thing. And I always keep it for Sunday afternoon when the crowd starts to die down. And you can actually walk around. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Cool. Simon?
I guess I have the mic. So hello. Okay, sorry.
Mic to face.
Yes. Hello. I'm really excited for the CS:GO Canadian Finals. I'm a big CS:GO player, so I'm excited to go see the teams and to see exactly who's going to make it to ESWC. It's going to be really interesting to see how how many people are actually going to be able to fit in there and how many people are going to show up. CS:GO and esports. I went to the esports panel a little bit earlier today. It was really interesting, and I love seeing what Montreal and Quebec in general has to offer for the esports scene. So I'm interesting to see how many people are going to be there, well, tomorrow and next week at ESWC. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Cool.
Well, I gotta say that I'm pretty much just sitting on cloud 9 because I met Kevin Smith yesterday,
Oh,
and nothing can compare for the rest of the weekend. Just coast through it, see the sights, meet the people, get some autographs. Autographs are free. Go up to your artist, get an autograph. Why not?
True.
And get some pictures with cosplayers for sure.
I just want
because
to
they're
chime in last
amazing.
thing before.
Go.
There's also the Indie Alley, Indie
Oh,
Game
yeah?
Alley, by the way, which is pretty. Indie Game Alley.
The indie
No,
game
I didn't
alley.
say Indian Game Alley. I said Indie Game Alley. Anyways, and it's really wicked. There's a lot of cool games, and the devs are really friendly and they really help you with the game. So go check it out.
Yeah, and they're good if you're interested in like getting into game development
Yeah.
yourself and you have questions. They're a really good resource because obviously they've been through it, they've seen it. So yeah, poke, ask questions, how they do things, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of people that we've already featured on Girls on Games.
On
And,
Indie Spotlight
we've
Night.
played in our Indie Spotlight night. So there's like Hollow Bunnies are there, and like you guys should definitely
Highlands.
go check out that game because it's adorable and heartless, and it will kill you a million times.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's really fun. But yeah, there's a bunch of people there. Definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
So next thing, and something that we get asked fairly frequently, but haven't really discussed on the podcast, I want to say, is how Girls on Games got started and where we kind of see things going in the future. Girls on Games started with Catherine and myself. We were the webmasters. Well, yeah, I guess you can say were, because I'm still not really working in web there anymore.
And I quit.
And you quit, yeah. At the English radio stations Shom 97.7, Virgin Radio, and CJAD 800. And while we were there, a wonderful friend from Ubisoft was handed a copy of Rocksmith to us because it makes sense, right? This is a video game to learn how to play rock and roll music properly on a guitar, not a beat game. And we're a rock radio station, so it kind of made sense. None of the announcers or jocks or whatever you want to call them, like Rockman and them, they're not big video gamers. So they handed Jason, sent him in our direction, and we said, this is a cool idea. We should start a blog. So
And since we were the webmasters,
we just
They
asked
couldn't be
permission,
stopped.
and it happened. So yeah, it was really just Catherine when we met for the first time. It was kind of amazing. There was kind of like a concoction of two people that just worked out. We didn't know each other prior to starting to work at Astral, what is now Bell. And we hit it off because one of the first things we started talking about was video games, and that's how we could connect. Because it's always awkward when you start a new job and you don't really know the person, and you're coming in and it's all brand new, and you know there's that relationship, and that's what video games has been to all of us, and I'm sure to all of you too. And you're here because you love to play games and you love experiencing those online things with your friends and doing it couch co-op, and you have your past that you're used to, and it's just become part of your daily lives now. And so when Kat and I started GOG, it was kind of on a whim. We kind of just went to our bosses and we're like, hey, can we make a blog about video games? Makes sense. It's rock radio, same target audience. And they were like, sure, do we have to do anything? And we're like, no, we're the webmasters. So we started, and it was a lot of fun. We were doing it for about a year. And Bell obviously is a big conglomerate, and we have other radio stations across Canada. And they asked us to, the other stations saw what we were doing. They really liked it. They were like, do we have to pay for it? We're like, no, it's free. So they syndicated our content. Then about magic word, free. Yes, we were doing it out of the goodness of our own hearts.
after hours most of the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the
Yeah.
time. Yep. So dedicated hardcore. And then I guess a year or so ago, it's a year now, we've launched a full site because we found that we wanted to talk about things beyond what we could talk about on Shom because of the target demo. Obviously, maybe the Shom rockers might not want to play Pokemon, might not be that interested in RPGs, the girly fashion side of it that we do enjoy a lot. And yeah, so that's when we decided to launch our full site. We had a few folks like Catherine who called us out of the blue on Facebook and was just like,
Emailed.
hey.
I want an internship at Show for the blog.
So yeah, with that being said, if you guys ever want to go and do something, see something cool out there, and you want to try an internship or whatever, all you have to do is like send an email because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
Well, no.
Wow,
I needed a
everybody's
summer
learning
job,
stuff.
So I just emailed them. I'm like, I like what you do. I like playing video games. I like to write. So can I have a job there?
And it worked out. So yeah, we launched our full site. Ali came on, Simone came on, and recently Nick, and it's been doing very well. Yeah, and we're having a lot of fun hanging out with people and talking with folks like yourselves, and enjoying video games together. Cool. So where we plan on going next, for folks who are curious, we're looking a lot into Twitch. So obviously Twitch streaming is super huge. We're having a lot of fun doing the podcast and stuff like that. And when we do Twitch games and play games online, Indie Spotlight is doing really well. So we want to do more of that. And even it might be the detriment to the full site because less writing might happen because Kat and I, like, if obviously if we're Twitch streaming, it kind of takes up the time we'd usually have to, write about games. But yeah, we plan on doing a lot of that, and we're recruiting too because we need some more people to help us out. And obviously, we don't discriminate. We do like the fact that it's called Girls on Games, so we do really appreciate if there are fellow women that want to come and write with us, play with us, do all that kind of stuff. We're not. We talk about all different scenarios, but we don't really try and pick sides on consoles. We don't shy away from commentary when it comes to like the panel you just did about race and sex in video games. We'll talk about
Hosted by
it.
our friend Voice right here.
And we think those things are all very important to talk about. But what is key is that we all have fun together playing video games. Anything you guys want to add?
Agreed. No, no, it's good. No. And even if I do start Twitch streaming a bit more, I'm still gonna end up writing. Like,
Yeah. You're kind of addicted to it.
Yes.
Is that why you're doing a master's?
Yes, that is true.
And I guess
Which
that goes.
is 100 pages.
It's
so-
very interesting to show. I guess maybe you want to talk about what you're doing in your master's because it is video game related, yet not directly.
Not right. Okay, because when I applied for my master's, I was doing it in gentrification, and I decided to change that since with the work that I've been doing for Girls on Games, and I want to do it in game related. I'm leaning towards doing it research because it's anthropological. So I'm gonna probably do it on community in Twitch. I don't know how yet. I haven't written up my proposal yet, so I don't know. But Twitch community
That's cool.
along those lines, yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So we're welcome to opening the floor up to questions. If you guys have any questions about what we do, what we're interested
Here,
in.
I'll be a
You
mic
wanna
lady.
be a microphone lady? Yay! And the reason why we need the microphone is because obviously this is going on Twitch later. So, hello, Paul.
Hi.
Hi.
Would you girls be looking into maybe doing a retro game angle eventually?
Yeah. Actually, it's something that I've been talking about a lot actually with my husband because he's like, we need to play throwback games, and I'm like, and then we can broadcast them. But yeah, retro games is obviously huge, and we love it. I mean, there's something so familiar about going back and playing an old game and feel good and put you in the right mindset. And yeah, it's something we definitely have to do. When we did our Extra Life last year, we played some old games, and that was a lot of fun.
But it's also the the technical side of things that sometimes makes it harder to actually broadcast old games, because
You use Stream Card.
you can, all that kind of stuff, but you can, even with stream cards, most stream cards now it's HDMI output and you're done. So if you want to try to, play a Genesis game or a NES game or whatever, then you have to buy more hardware.
And let's face it, the NES game is going to be 30 minutes of me trying to get the cartridge to read.
Blow in it, put it in.
But with that being said, with the latest news out of E3 with Xbox and them doing backwards compatibility and all that jazz and all those rare games being put out, that 30 games for 30
I'm very
bucks.
excited for that.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
is
God.
Xbox is original Xbox actually retro games now, or
Yes. Well,
you are
can-
that old, sir.
okay? I'm not, but
It's-
fine.
3 generations ago.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah. With that being said, if you folks are in town and you are hardcore retro fans and video game fans, you're all here. You need to go to the Science Center because they have an amazing exhibition going on right now called Game On. And you can play everything from Pong right up to trying the Oculus Rift. Everything's playable. You get to see some really cool stuff like how a game is created. They have a wonderful billboard, I guess you could call it, by Ubisoft. It's
A
kind of like
wall.
it's kind of like a timeline, and you can
Giant
see
wall.
game from conception and ideation right up to like physical disc. They have Grand Theft Auto Vice City display with a lot of the stuff from that because they had the baseball bat.
Wasn't it the third?
I
thought
don't remember. One of the Grand Theft Autos.
Yeah, it was the third. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, there you go. What else have they got there? Tons of Pokemon stuff. Some original illustrations of Mario.
They had original illustration of Pokemon, like stuff from Japan that Nintendo was like, here, display it.
Don't let it get damaged.
There's also
Exactly.
pretty rare video game systems over there. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the whole gamut, a great wall, and you can try pretty much every console that has ever come out. So go check that out. It's
fun.
well worth your time.
And go early because you'll be there all fucking day. I was trying not to swear. I
The
failed.
one F-bomb came out. That's okay. Any other questions? We got Craig. Go on over. Hold on now. Kat's coming with the mic.
Hello.
Hello, Craig.
First of all, thank you very much for doing this.
No problem.
Thanks for being
And-
here.
Thank you for being here.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised there's more than 3 people. So that's to me that's just amazing.
And thank you for all your hard work and dedication to what you do. And you certainly have my admiration and respect. So kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have an actual question.
Not just ramblings. For
I
20
won't
minutes.
random about my life, but no. Considering all the problems and glitches and everything that have like been happening with a lot of games lately, we've been hearing about, Batman Arkham Knight on PC and
Right.
games being released with just massive glitches. Does it ever make you sort of harken back to the nostalgic days of just plug and play cartridges?
Sometimes it does.
Yes, it does.
Like-
Just buying something and having it work is kind of nice.
Yeah. But it's like when we played Unity, we got it like a month in advance to do the review. And like we usually play broken games because we get them pre-patch, pre-day one patch. So often we write the review thinking all these things are going to be fixed. And then the games comes out. And then people are like, we have all these bugs. You didn't tell us about it. I'm like, technically they're not still supposed to be there. And I'm very happy when we get to review Nintendo because what you see is what you get, and they're still in that cartridge kind of feeling. And I wish, yeah, I am a bit nostalgic, but at the same time, it's like the cartridge days. If you got a broken game, your game was broken forever.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that about patching. I miss the days where you could buy a game, bring it home, put it in, and not wait 3 hours for a patch
Oh my
to
God,
download.
Batman. Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, the
I
patches
made-
are bad.
I made the terrible mistake of buying Defiance when it came out in the Xbox 360.
God.
Put the disc in, and I had to wait 6 hours.
Yeah.
6 hours, and my internet's not bad. So I was just like, okay, no, this is something wrong here. But yeah, I think it takes away from the whole experience, right? Of like, you get so hyped for these things, and you have them in your hands, and it's still not an experience because you need to wait again.
And when you're traveling, often, traveling, you have your 3DS with you or something like that. It's amazing that you can just go buy a game, throw it in the 3DS, and she just works. You don't have to worry about being connected to the internet. And sometimes I enjoy playing games online, but sometimes there's a thing about being solo and like, say your internet is down. Well, you can still just turn on your Xbox and play a game. Maybe not. Destiny won't work. So, yeah.
Well, I think actually it made me grow more cynical. I think what game releases, well, cynical or maybe like just careful.
Yes.
Because you have, I don't pre-order games anymore. Do not pre-order games. If there's one thing that I can tell you, do not pre-order games, because they're selling you something that is not real. They're selling you a dream, and often it's not. That's not what it is. More often than not.
That was so
No, but it's true.
That's so dystopian.
No, but it's true, and because like you pre-order games and you're super excited, and like, oh my, it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna rock, and it's gonna be super insane, and then it doesn't work. It just doesn't work on day one. So like, don't buy a game on day one. I usually buy. I'm a PC gamer, so I usually buy games on Steam at like 50% off 2 years later. But honestly, I think it's. I don't know if it's cynical or if I'm more careful
It's
about
hard
it.
though.
But
It's very difficult because I am a victim of the hype machine all the time.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm a victim
yeah.
and I perpetuate it all the time.
Well, it's a changing industry, right? Like, I mean, games are coming out faster and faster, and so many more of them at one
Yep.
time. I mean, it used to be there'd be like 2 really big releases per month, and now there's like 6.
Right.
And you're constantly bombarded with the feeling that you have to buy the games as soon as they come out. And I think we buy into that a little bit too much, and we end up, that's what lets us down.
Very true.
Well, it's the fact that not only all your friends are going to buy it, and all your friends are going to play it, and all your friends are super hyped about it, and then you're the only stupid guy not
playing the
buying
game.
the game, not
if all
playing
your
the game.
friends jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a
Of
bridge?
course, it
You're
looks
using my-
awesome.
Harken back to your mother's words.
It looks awesome.
Be your own person. So.
Nick?
Well, as far as pre-ordering the game, I find you don't essentially want to get the game spoiled, especially when it comes to a game
Yeah.
where you put in a decent amount of hours to try and complete certain objectives, just to have someone on the internet post something that you didn't want to see, and it just ruins your whole experience. How many games have been ruined because of something someone posted online?
But at the same time, that could happen even if you buy the game, because like I like to prolong the pleasure. I'll play in short session over a few days, and there's always somebody that's going to beat the game in a weekend and then post it all on the internet. You just gotta learned to black out.
Yeah.
But
You can filter things on Twitter, I've learned. And you can block things, which is
hashtag
really
Game
handy.
of Thrones blocked.
Exactly. Any other questions? Voice has voice.
So just speaking of broken and patching games on day one and taking 4 hours to download Halo Master Chief.
I remember us trying to play that online and
That didn't
failing
work.
miserably, and we still can't play it.
So there's a kind of a paradigm shift in the way a lot of game reviewers are reviewing games. Before they would just review the games day one. Now to still monopolize on the fact that the game's coming out, they'll still put out the day one review, but they'll call it review in progress.
Yeah.
Do you guys see yourselves adopting that or kind of changing your own review style?
Yes, because there's always and especially being kind of lower on the scale of media that get games, because we're the starters. We're not the IGNs, we're not the Polygons, we're not the Game Centros.
We're just two girls that know WordPress.
Yeah. So we'll get games, but obviously we have full-time jobs. It's not our job. We're not paid to get the review out. And there is that anguish being I got to play this game. I got to get my review out quick, because if not, someone's going to beat me to it. No, people want to know what we think because they value our opinion. So if we take the time to go through the progress and play the game, I'm reviewing Batman Arkham Knight, and because of Comic-Con, I've probably played 10 hours max. I'm not done. Not near. Right? So it is going to be a commentating thing in progress, but it doesn't shy me away from talking about it during the podcast. I'm not hiding away, being I'm not going to post my views. Playing it on Twitch, because I think that's the best way a lot of people can see games legitimately now, is to watch people actually play them. Though it is very important to have reviews from critics who know what they're talking about, voicing their opinions, and pointing out things like what was up with The Witcher. Because we need that information, and we need to talk about these things. So, yes, in progress is good in order to, make sure that the game runs and what you're enjoying at that time, but you really need to get through the full patches and all that stuff to really know what you're going to get in the end and what you're putting your money into.
What's really important to me is not to put a number on a game, this game is a 10, this game is an 8, because there's always going to be, in entertainment, there's always going to be a subjective part. There's going to be an objective part, the game is broken, I can't get online to get a multiplayer. That's
1080p,
objective.
It does 60 frames per second, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Subjective is, I don't even like shooters. Then
What are you doing reviewing this game?
exactly. So I think there shouldn't be numbers on reviews, just a general this is a good shooter, here's why I think it's good. But in the end, putting an 8, saying Assassin's Creed is an 8, well, I'm an Assassin's Creed fan. For me, it's gonna, even Unity that was broken was gonna be an 11. So I think that's my big paradigm, is yes, we're gonna continue, maybe we're gonna go in progress, and maybe we're gonna address after the patches are done, but I'm gonna talk about the fact that you need to patch your stupid game. Even if I loved Unity and it was a great game, it's not the game I saw on launch was completely different from the game that was 8 months later. And I've had people playing the game later saying, I don't see why this got bad reviews because I love it. I'm because they reviewed the broken, and this is the subjective part or the objective part. You need to put the two together, and it's not, Unity was not a 6 or an 8. Unity was a good game for what it was. And it could have been a bad game, but it wasn't, it could have been better. But in the end, it was a good game, and they got terrible numbers. So I hate numbers.
And
Sorry,
I
I'm
agree
wrong.
with you on that one. And that's why I like Kotaku's system, where it's a yes or a no, and explains to you why it's a yes as to why it's a no. Because I find numbers are arbitrary anyways. 7.77, okay.
Well, it's like the discussion in Spinal Tap about the 10 and the 11. It's well, isn't it the same kind of loudness? No, it's 11.
That's it.
In the end, maybe an 11 is a 10.
The only thing higher than 11 is too tall. Sorry, that's a Show'em reference.
Yeah, we got a question in the back over there.
Hold up now.
Got Mike.
It's not really a question. It's just I wanted to add to the numbers or stupid
Sure.
thing.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Is that I remember before in the maybe year 2001, 2002, whenever a big review site would review a game, and they would give it a 5 or a 6, that didn't mean the game was bad. They would rate it just average or just about a little bit above average. What happens now most of the time is that if the game is rated 6 or 7 out of 10, it's considered already it's bad reviews.
Yeah.
So they kind of switch this entire number system around, and I don't really like that. I don't personally.
There's always contexts like that where, you know, they don't want to give a perfect score, they don't want to give a terrible score, and it's like the grading system in school. Like, I remember halfway through grade school, they changed what an A meant and what a B meant and everything, and then my grades meant nothing to me after they changed the system because they changed the scales. So in the end, it's hard to evaluate things. It's not a freaking earthquake, you know. It's something it's a piece of entertainment, a piece of art.
Yeah, and the thing is too is there's many games, and I think there was a topic one time on the podcast, is a game that got a crappy review online that we actually adore. And I know you played Thief, and
Dirty secret. I love it.
and Kat loved it.
Oh, that was a good game.
Yeah,
it was
but
really good.
didn't
I had
do
fun
so
figuring
well.
And
I'm a critic.
feeling shit. I was very happy.
Yeah,
I didn't like Shadow of Mordor.
Me neither.
neither did Simon. I still haven't
Nope.
played that.
Oh yes.
No.
Yeah, it happens. You know, everything's subjective. So you just gotta read reviews with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and also we need to have like that. We have that separation. Like, you know, at one point Leah was playing a game and she was like, "I hate this game. I can't review it because I hate it too much." Somebody needs to take a step back.
Like, I don't want to play this anymore. This
Like,
sucks.
it was visceral, and we're like, okay, let's like too much.
Someone else
subjective.
take this. Yeah, and that happens.
Yeah, and we did, and we passed it along to somebody else who was like, no, you're right. It is pretty terrible.
I'm not crazy.
Well, you know, to go back to the numbers comment, it's not unreal now to see that so many companies base the success or failure of a game on these numbers, on the Metacritic numbers, and so many developers like don't get their bonuses if their game doesn't get at least 80% on Metacritic, and I think that's completely stupid because, I mean, like we said earlier, you can't. Someone's gonna love the game and give it a 10, and someone's gonna be okay, I give it a 2. So that's 5 out of 10 just because someone didn't like your game. So it's just I think that's also what attracted me to the Girls on Games in the first place, was that the reviews didn't have numbers. And I like sites like Rock Paper Shotgun, where or even Kotaku to some extent, where they talk about the game and they actually explain how they like, what they didn't like, but they don't actually grade the game. So people just don't go at the time. Okay, what did they say? Okay, it's out of 10. All right, I'm gonna buy it.
And let's
So you actually
face
have to
it.
read it.
Yeah, and let's face it, a lot of things, like, and Craig would know because he reviews movies, a lot of things find their niche years down the line. How many Kevin Smith movies bomb in theaters and then become
And
these
then
cult classic?
That everybody's seeing and
Yeah.
reciting and
Yeah, you know, like, and video games will do that. You know, some games started playing, like, got success years later, but did it not perform on launch because of the reviews? And then at one point it was on sale and people started playing and was like, hey, this is actually good. F you, IGN.
Well, I think that actually, like, I think IGN's first score for Mario 64, I think it was like 2.5 out of 10.
Oh my god.
They hated it,
Wow.
and then they went back and then they gave it a 10. But the first review that they gave was like 2.5.
I never
out of
heard
10.
that. That's-
Yeah,
wow, I gotta read that one.
it's cool. Well, I think there's 5 or 6 games that are like critically acclaimed and that they got like panned when they first came out by either IGN or GameSpot or the big sites. So it's numbers are numbers.
It's funny that Kat mentions the word niche because, like, I'm a big JRPG fan, so I've felt the sting of many, you know, critics giving number scores to games like this where it's just not, you know, it's not the audience for it, and so
Yeah.
you have to really dig deeper and you have to look past like that label that they put on it because, you know, it's subjective. Everyone's different.
Numbers are toxic.
Yeah, they are.
honestly, in this
They are.
industry, it's toxic.
Any other questions? Yes. We've got about 5 minutes left.
two.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
The lady and then
Hello.
Hi.
And do you have any hints that you will give to someone that want to start to review some video games?
Start. Just in general. Just start Twitch, talking about games, voicing your opinion. Twitter is awesome. And just start writing. It's so easy now to like go get a press blog, something like that, and just start writing. Because as you go, you'll get to learn how to write reviews. You'll get a voice. You'll start to learn what you like to review, what you don't, your style, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just like if you pick up a game and you're loving it, then write about it and get your thoughts out there because somebody's going to go read it. They might agree, they might disagree, but you might change somebody's opinion on a game too.
Yeah.
So yeah, just go for it.
Like Leah says, like don't underestimate social media. Like if you want to start with like just really short form on Twitter, 140 characters of your opinion on a game, go for it, because that's what I started with. And that's where you build a community. And, once you launch a blog, those people are going to come from your Twitter account and they're going to read your posts. So just take advantage of that. And it's so short and it takes so little of your time. And, just go for it. It's,
Also, wait, just
Go, Kat.
one thing that I would do personally, if you're intimidated by creating a website and a blog, because I am intimidated by creating a website and a blog, is that there's certain big websites like Gamma Sutra where you can sign up and write, a review or an article about video games, and people will read it. Especially a site like Gamma Sutra, traffic goes there, so that could be a way to make yourself a name, and then in turn also use Ali, which you said, social media and sharing it. So
Yeah, there's a lot of platforms you can use. There's a lot of blogging platforms that you can use. You don't need to be web designers like the two of us and then build a team. It can start with just you, a Tumblr, submitting articles to collective website like Medium and Movie Pilots and
us.
Gamma Sutra. Or you can even submit them to us. And you can write in the language of your choice, and you'll find the community of your choice, whether that be French, English, or any other language. It's just like, you just need to stop when you're really enjoying or hating a game. You just need to stop and ask why and write that down, and then put it on the internet. It's actually much easier than it sounds or looks.
And I think one of the most important thing that I can tell you is be yourself. People are gonna like your personality. They're gonna like who you are. And if you try to imitate someone else, you're gonna get called out right away. So if you bring your personality and your writing style and the games you like and how you review things, then that's what gets people excited and that's what people like. So,
Nick, you did your first review for us as Splatoon, which I mentioned earlier. How did you start that process?
I always was interested in writing, and at one point I listened to their podcast, and one of them, they said, we are looking for people that are interested in writing for us. So I made an application. They gave me a little test run. I did my little test run, and they came back and said, okay, we liked what you did. You're going to start writing for us.
It's just
I was
that
like,
simple.
it's that easy, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and now I'm doing it. So do it. Do it. Why not?
Do we have time for one last question? We
Yes,
have
we
2
do.
minutes.
Yeah, one last question.
2
and
minutes.
We'll close the show.
I think we had
Question there, yeah.
Hello to the super team of girls on games. I was just wondering, because I don't think it's even something they're really talking to any of the podcasts, not that I remember anyway. Do you think that mobile gaming, outside of, like iPhones and iOSs and of this world, have a future, per se?
Do you
A
mean
lot
like
of people-
portable gaming? Like
portable
DSs
gaming
and
means
the
like,
Vitas and stuff?
3DS and Vita and all that. Because I know Ali is, especially
yeah.
for niche
yeah.
GRPG, it's crazy. But other than that, I think unfortunately it's really a minority with what the market is going on and everything. So
North America. Okay, we're having well, actually no, I was remarking on this a couple weeks ago on Twitter. We're seeing a really increased flow of localized games, from Japan, making their way very quickly instead of 3, 4, 5 years later coming to the Vita or to the 3DS. So I think we're picking up slowly. I think the Western companies are starting to realize that they do have that market, and they're starting to take advantage of it now. I don't know if it's too late for the Vita. I think the 3DS is it's going to be a constant. I mean, just walking around here in Comic-Con, I've gotten like 150 street passes. It's like crazy. But yeah, I don't know if it's too late for the Vita. I bought one just recently, and I love it.
The Vita
But
is
it's
not.
because-
Yeah, it's not going to be a AAA console.
No, I mean,
It's indies.
We're getting indie games now, like Banner Saga and stuff like that are coming out 2 years later after they've been released on PC, So I don't think it's ever going to get to the point that PlayStation maybe wanted it to, but it still has its cult following. That's for sure. But
Yeah.
I don't...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is definitely. It's a...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a niche community, and it's directed towards a very certain type of gamer, and that's okay. But it's like Leah said, it's not going to be a AAA bestseller anymore. It's gonna be ignored.
Yeah,
for the
and
most
it
part.
depends on the type of games you like too. I personally don't want to play games on my phone because I find that I need the space for my fingers and the buttons, and touching it on the screen is not my preference. But each their own.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap this up really quickly.
Yeah, so if you want to learn more about us, you can find us at girlsongames.ca. We're on Twitter at The Girls on Games, Facebook at Girls on Games, YouTube at Girls on Games. This is going to be broadcasted on Twitch at Girls on Games on Monday at 8 p.m. That's when we usually do our podcast.
You can subscribe on iTunes.
All that jazz. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming to our podcast, because this is really awesome for
Thank
being
you.
our first one. I really appreciate it.
And if you have any more questions, we're going to be here at the con like all weekend. We're wearing the t-shirts. Stop us, talk to us. We love you guys.